Good evening and welcome to our live set of six where we share the good, the great and the noteworthy of rugby league outside the heartlands. My name's Craig.
And my name's Carl, and on this week's set of six we're going to be talking Serbian Rugby League. As always, we're going to have a Midlands Nines update, and we're also going to be talking about fasting breaks for players during Ramadan.
Okay, welcome to this week's set of six. So, as always, six. I think we've actually got seven. We're going to squeeze.
Don't count this week.
Yeah, don't count. News stories from around the heartlands. Action-packed show as always. Now, if you want to comment, we try and make this show as interactive as we can. If you want to comment, then you've got to give Facebook permission in order to share your name. If not, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But just stick your name in the comments and we know kind of who we're talking to. We can bring it up the screen, get you involved in the show, and we always give 10 Rugby League Outsiders points to the first person to comment, which you can redeem absolutely nowhere on the internet. So, Carl, another big week.
Still not going anywhere with that joke, mate. Yeah, okay, we'll crack right in. We're going to start with a tweet of the week this week, Craig, but mix it up a little bit. It was April Fool's Day this week. All the clubs were doing the best to outdo each other with various bits of mischief. None of them really tricked me. I think the Sonny Bill Williams coming out of retirement one. Serious about rugby league. I've been knocking that one out for about 3 years now. It didn't fool anybody. But the tweet of the week was from Cornwall, which I loved this one last year. So they put a tweet out last year saying, look, they've visited Parliament and they've lobbied the government to extend the M62 down into Cornwall, and they've sort of caught up with it again this year. So
they've done they've revisited it, haven't they?
Yeah, 1 year on, and we're still waiting for the M62 expansion project to reach Cornwall. And if anyone know what Keith Lee is up to nowadays, I thought it was brilliant.
Okay, moving on. So might as well get straight into the first slide. So Battle of the Codes, Carl.
Yeah, so we talked about this last week. Leamington v Leamington. The Leamington Royals Rugby League took on Leamington Rugby Union Club, the club they play out of. And I'm very pleased to say that the Royals came out on top. Not just in rugby league, though. They also won the Rugby Union game.
I wonder what the score is there. I mean, it must be... I don't know. It'd be good to get Pete on.
Well, I'll tell you what the score was, the actual score was. So in the Union half, the Leamington Royals, the league side won the first half 12 points to 0.
Yeah.
And then the league game, they won 24 points to 12. And the tries that the Union side scored, when the league team lent them a couple of players.
No way.
So well in Leamington Royals.
So what are we saying? It was like superior speed, power, pace, all those kind of things, or what?
Of course it was. All those things. Yeah. Basic skills. I always say that's the difference between rugby league and rugby union.
Trouble is,
core skills.
I won't mind a good conversation about this because I wonder what truly happened. Because like the Union, like they're getting towards the end of their season, so they should be quite tight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
skills on the ball and
they. I think it was mainly the Leamington Union second team, but they did have 6 first team players taking part. There were also a really good crowd down there. There was about 150, 160 people turned out for this game. And as always, with the Leamington Royals do, everybody were in the bar after. Good crack up.
No doubt, loads of bucket hats everywhere and Jamaican shirts and all this kind of stuff.
Pink shirts and
yeah. Okay, so from one.
Hang on. Also, just give a bit of a shout out to Marcus Pask from Leamington. It was his birthday this week, so happy birthday, Marcus.
Happy birthday, Marcus.
Do you know what? That's probably just a Leamington April Fools I probably picked up on.
Yeah, it probably is. Okay, so from one set of rivalry to rivals round in Super League, Cal.
Yeah, so I thought we'd visit the Super League scores this week and sort of have a look back on rivals round. Really impressive crowds, Craig. There was 3 mega crowds. None other than the Wigan St Helens crowd, which was a sellout, as it always is on Good Friday. What did you think of the game?
I thought the game was great. I thought the atmosphere was brilliant. There was a bit. I tell you what did irk me a little bit. There was a couple of the other games, and the crowds weren't brilliant, right? The
whole crowd was mega. Yeah,
it's always going to be great. But a couple of others. And anyway, on Facebook, there were people on there going, "Oh, rugby league's dead. Rugby league's dead." And I'm just like, how many of these people doing these shitty comments are at the game?
Yeah,
you know what I mean, or have been to the game, been to a game in the next 12 months. You know what I mean? And are they part of the problem rather than it's dead easy and it just sit there complaining? So that's the thing that kind of struck me.
Well,
and then on the flip side, sorry, Carl, on the flip side, we then had a sellout crowd for Wigan and Saints. And it's that sort of suggests to me that rugby league's not dead. You know what I mean? It's just those that are compelled to go and watch their team, the size of the fan base. If they're going to go and watch compelling rugby, you're going to fill the crowds. So that's kind of what I took from that.
Well, that's rugby. That's rugby league's biggest problem. Always rugby league's biggest problem. Too many negative people, and they just need to shut the trap sometimes.
Yeah.
But the games were great. The Wigan Saints game, especially, I thought was just the proper. They were just knocking lumps out of each other, weren't they? And do you know what I also took for it? There's been all this about head injuries, happening, and it's going to make the game soft and all the rest of it. Mate, that game wasn't soft.
Yeah, it was absolutely vicious. If anything is close to state of origin or whatever, then that's got to be that. Big hits right from the start, huge. I thought like the kick chase was just phenomenal from both sides, and it was just like really it was down to the wire, wasn't it? Right to the end. You didn't really know who was going to win, and then obviously Conrad Hurrell just sealed the game at the end of the game, sealed the win at the end of the game. And I was a bit upset with that because I thought Conrad Hurrell had been pretty quiet and been pretty poor.
Well, I wasn't upset with because I backed St Helens on our predictions episode. So
yeah, you took me into the lead, didn't it?
Yeah, I got that one right.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a couple of scores there just to kind of chat through. So you pulled out a couple of ones of interest, Cal.
Well, these are all the Super League scores. Leeds Cass. What did you think of that game? That was the Thursday night game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought Cass
played really well. They had some like 20, 30 minutes camps on Leeds' line, but clearly Cass's biggest problem is it's just attacking flair now, isn't it? Or structure, or something's not quite clicking in attack because they were building the pressure. They were getting the repeat sets of 6. Leeds really didn't look in that game for the first half.
Yeah, no, I was like watching it going, "Good hell, we might lose this."
Yeah,
but luckily they kind of pulled through. Yeah, I think you're right with Castleford. I think they did really well for a spell and then kind of lost it after that. But I think they needed to.
Yeah.
I think the coach was like kicking. He'd thrown his toys out of the pram, I think, and just. So right, enough's enough. No more Mr. Nice. Let's just get stuck in and get it done. So quite impressed.
The whole derby went as expected. The pressure's still building in Hull on Tony Smith. The fans just aren't happy, are they? We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Salford beat Lee. That was as I expected. The other close game was London. London had a good first half again. Fitness seem to tell with London, so they can compete for that 40 minutes.
Yeah,
but they just fall away, don't they?
Do you know that they're excited? I think London are quite excited. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, is this the week they're going to get their win? And I find it quite exciting because they do pull some great stuff. I don't know if you watched the game, you'd have seen like they kicked off, right, and then they trapped. I think it was Alex Walker like trapped. The Huddersfield player in the in-goal area, and I thought, how fast have you got to be running in order to follow the ball, then trap someone in the in-goal area? I thought it was an amazing kick chase. Couple of little errors kind of let them down, but all in all, definitely progressing. And we've got an interview later on with a London player, haven't we? So stick around to listen in on that.
Yeah, we have had a comment from Phil Rogers who says 6K is a decent attendance for us at Salford. and it's steadily increasing, which it should do because Salford are playing some great rugby again this year, building on last year.
Yep, definitely. Cheers for your comment there, Phil. Okay, moving on. So you picked out a couple of League One and Championship scores as well?
Yeah, rather than going through them all, I just picked out the sort of noticeable ones. Obviously, Bradford beating Halifax was a massive win for the Bulls, 29 points to 10. No, it was a good game, actually. I saw some of the highlights of that. Bradford looking quite strong at the minute.
Just recent big injection of money as well, which could help the game.
Yeah,
the club.
Yeah, the board seem to be. Look, I know Bradford gets a lot of stick, and for good reason on a lot of stuff. But the current board, I think, are doing really well. Jason Hurst is bringing a lot of finances into the club. If only we can get the stadium sorted out, who knows in a couple of years' time. Anyway, York v Toulouse. Toulouse away at York. 20 points to 14, really close game.
Yeah.
And the other one I was keeping an eye on, two teams outside the traditional heartlands, North Wales Crusaders and the Midlands Hurricanes. Crusaders came out on top, 20 points to 14. Very close game, that. Patrick Arvan got a very important try. Matt Dunning was a little bit disappointed. I saw the post-game interview with him. I think he would have been targeting that game.
Yeah, definitely. I was keeping an eye on that, and I really thought the Canes were going to win, but kind of lost it towards the end.
The other one was noticeable was Newcastle Thunder. Although they went down 18 points to 48 in the end, I do believe they were winning in that first half, a large chunk of it. I think it might have been 18 all, or they were slightly up at half time. But again, they fell away in the second half. So another one where fitness is probably starting to tell. However, they appear to be going in the right direction, which is great for Newcastle.
Okay, so from there onto our pretty much top story at the minute, very trending story a minute. This idea of Ramadan fasting breaks during games. What's your take on this, Cal?
Yeah, so like you say, this is a big story, isn't it? A minute, players who are fasting during Ramadan, they're not eating and drinking during the fast, but then sometimes the fast ends during a game. So iftar, I believe it's called, they can break their fast at this time. But in rugby league, we don't have a designated stop to allow them just to get a quick drink or a food. And it's very much rushed. I know, like Premiership football, they've now adapted an actual short stoppage break. It's something we haven't done in rugby league. Rugby league is a very inclusive sport, as we know. We did have a quick interview, didn't we, Craig?
Yeah, I'll play that in a sec. But I mean, when we say we don't do it, it's like we don't have an official break. However, it is happening.
Yeah, it is happening. Yeah,
Hakeem Maludi the other week, he had the base of the physio ran on with a handful of dates, a bit of water. He could kind of hydrate a little bit, throw a couple of dates down his neck, but it wasn't like an official break, was it?
No, so that's what he was saying. Like within seconds, he was, he was back tackling, and I don't think it would do any harm. I was very much educated by the chat we had earlier, actually.
So there's a quick clip. We caught up with Elias McCartney from London Broncos. So here. Okay, we've got a call now with Elias McCartney of London Broncos. We're going to dive into the suggestion of these alterations in the rules to just make a little bit of leeway for people that are observing Ramadan. So, Elias, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. I think probably the best place to start, just to give our viewers a little bit of an insight, is give us a bit of an insight into Ramadan and what you do during Ramadan, mate.
Yeah, so Ramadan is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. And so during Ramadan, we fast from sunrise to sunset. So during that time, we won't consume any food or drink any water. And the reason why we fast, the whole reason why Ramadan is what it is because the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, during that month. And so it's a time for us to practice control and being able to be appreciative of what we have during other months. So we tend to fast for the entire month to help understand and draw ourselves closer to God.
Elias, I know, having done like fasts in non-religious sense in the past, I know it can be quite challenging in itself. I've got no idea the effects it would have on someone who's playing top level professional rugby league? Like how does it affect your performance?
Haven't done it a while. It doesn't affect me too much, but I'd definitely say you definitely feel a lot more lethargic towards the back end of the month. So the first 2 weeks tend to be okay because you tend to have a bit more weight. You have your fat stores, so you can rely on those. But definitely towards the back end of the month, so the last 2 weeks, you definitely start to feel a bit more lethargic, and you definitely have a lot less energy, especially during games because you do a lot more running during those times.
And there's been a suggestion sort of in the news this week. I know a number of other sports have started to do it. They've started to allow players to break their fast during games. Is that something that you'd like to see the RFL bring into the rules?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of athletes will appreciate it. Obviously, there are more and more Muslim athletes now playing rugby league at the highest level, so allowing players to have that moment, like we spoke about. I spoke to Darren and Hakeem. Obviously, he's one of those players who was on the pitch that had to break the fast whilst they're playing the game, and he literally had a couple dates and then went on to make a tackle. So having a minute or 30 seconds just for players to have some dates, have some water, and go back about the game would be very much appreciated by the Muslim athletes for sure.
The RFL, they seem to be doing a lot of work with the Muslim community at the minute. I've seen a number of clubs. Bradford Bulls have started doing an iftar, haven't they, in the evening for people to break the fast. Is this something London Broncos are getting involved with?
To my knowledge, it's something that we definitely want to get involved in the community. If they're planning to do so, I am not sure, but we've definitely started to make players aware. We've had a sit down amongst players and explain players what Ramadan is and what fasting is. So as a playing group, we're very aware, and we're definitely trying to get something involved in the community. I know Huddersfield did an iftar night as well. So yeah, massive reps to all the teams, especially up north, that putting in the effort as well, and really appreciate it.
Elias, for me, it seems like, it's not a great deal to ask. It doesn't seem much of a downside. Is there anything, is there implications on other aspects of the game, or, is there a downside?
Personally, I don't think so. But maybe I may be biased. But I just think as communities, we have so much awareness about so many different groups, and just making more people aware of Muslims, and as we have with other groups, I think it's only going to stand people in good stead. So I think it's definitely a good thing that we're doing.
Brilliant, mate. What you've said is, I think you've answered the questions really clearly. I just want to touch on London Broncos season, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so obviously you're having a little bit of a difficult time, but it was always going to be the case going into that full-time environment against the Super League clubs this year. How do you think your season's progressing at the minute?
I mean, we're definitely making progress. We've had to really micromanage certain aspects of our team and our structure. Because we are a new team, like we lost quite a few players from the squad we had last year, so we're having to rebuild a bit, and we are starting to bed down these new combinations. So this result against Huddersfield at 6-26 was a good score, and definitely a marker for us progressing in the right step. And I definitely think we're going to keep working in that direction and hopefully start to get some results in our favour.
Elias, for me, I found myself, me and Cara at the first game of the season, we was down there at Wimbledon FC, and we was watching the game, loved it. We had a great day there, even though it was freezing. But anyway, I find myself every week now just praying for London to get their first win. I really think that the things that you're doing on the pitch are capturing people's attention, and I think you're doing incredibly well. So I kind of want to wish you the best luck for the season, but also I wonder, what is the key messages that the head coach is coming out with each week?
I mean, he's keeping it very clear and very simple. Like, we have to keep progressing and improving as a team. We have to challenge each other in the tiniest of aspects to make our game better as individuals, as a team, and as a club. So everyone is constantly being pushed, and we're making sure we're leaving no stone unturned in order to maximise our performances on the pitch. And hopefully we keep doing that enough, and we will start getting the right things. And already we're seeing progress in the results, and so hopefully we keep doing that, and the results will start coming our way.
And what does it mean for a lad like yourself? You grew up in Tottenham, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does it mean to go through the London Broncos pathway and to finally be playing in Super League with the Broncos?
Oh, massive! Like I'm London through and through. Not a Tottenham fan though, just to make clear. But I love London, and it's an honour to represent my town or my city every time I get on the pitch. So just massive honour to have come through the system. And obviously Mike was one of the first people that brought me through the system when I was 18, 19. So to work alongside him now, 10 odd so years later, is massive. So yeah, massive honour to always represent and pull on the shirt.
And just like touching on the pathways that London have got, they've brought so many players through the pathways. Do any of the first team players get involved in sort of bringing the youngsters through? Oh
yeah, definitely. A lot of players give back. Like I know Ollie Leyland had a massive involvement. Me and him both partnered up helping the scholarship last year. Ryan Horseman, Sam Davies, Will Lovell, plenty have their hand. Like we all understand what it's like to give back, and being at that age when that first team player did come down, it was massive for you to just be able to rub shoulders with them and have a conversation with them. So yeah, plenty of players always looking to give back.
This last question from me: Who are you enjoying playing with at the minute?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know actually. I'd say Hakeem Maloudi is probably an interesting one. A very big character in the team, very enjoyable and really likes to try anything. So he's very exciting to play alongside, and he's very unpredictable. So really excited to play alongside him and develop a partnership with him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love watching Hakeem Maloudi.
I agree.
It's brilliant. So yeah, completely understand that.
And he's also practicing Islam as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a Muslim as well. So yeah, he's been fasting alongside me. It's very weird having somebody doing it with me. So yeah, good fun helping each other get through it.
Well, it's been fantastic to speak to you. I really appreciate you finding the time just out of your training schedule to come down and have a chat with us. On all the best for the rest of the season, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it. Honestly, anytime willing to have a chat, and anytime you need me, don't be afraid to give me a shout.
Brilliant. Thank you, Elias. Take care.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, really insightful conversation there. So from Ramadan on to our next story, and that's an update with our 24 days until the Midlands NES Festival.
Yeah, it's getting close, isn't it?
Isn't it? Squeaky bum time.
Yeah, right. So, just an update for any teams that have entered. Wristbands have been sent out this week. So to all the teams, tickets have been dispatched, and just the perfect time to say, festival tickets, Craig, are on sale now.
Yeah, so if you're not sure, I think we've picked up a few extra viewers and that since we first announced that we're running the Midlands NES Rugby League tournament and music festival. So what it is we've got 3 different tournaments playing on the same day in Coventry, and then afterwards we've got 3 great acts that are going to be playing in a couple of live sets, and then just a real good booze, a few plus a couple of other bits and bobs as well. So we want to make it like the must-attend rugby league event in the Midlands, every year.
Yeah, stage times have been announced. If you bring these up on screen, Craig. Yep. So the Stiffmeisters, pop punk rock band playing Green Day, Blink-182, all that sort of thing. They'll be on at 6:00, opening the party just after the rugby, after the finals. The Alexander Norris local Coventry act, who's going to be on at 7:30. He should really get the crowd going. And then it'll be all ready for the Mardy Bums, the Arctic Monkeys tribute band. The headline act at 9:00, going on till 10:30. And then after that, there's going to be indoor music. And we've also got another announcement to make today. If you bring it up. So Samoan Joe's Tiki Bar in Coventry have come on as an official partner of the Midlands NES, which is a nightclub, as you can see, Tiki Bar style nightclub. Very bright, colourful, really energetic place. That's going to be the official after party at the Midlands NES, Craig.
Yeah, and we're gonna have some codes with your wristband. You can get into there for free.
Yeah, so, they've put a very special offer on. So anybody attending the Midlands NES event with their wristband is going to be able to get in for free in the after party. Yeah,
so we'll tell you a little bit more about how you can get involved with that in a second. But before that, I just want to give you a little bit of an insight into one of the acts that's going to be playing.
This is I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor. break of the ice to you. What is this surprise? This means that I don't really want you to. Your shoulders are frozen. I'm a sure explosion. The aim is real and I don't care for sale. I am a fuse from the soul in a blind from the bango. I've been there true and good and the dance one. Don't know if you're looking for romance. You know I should open the floor. Said I've been there true and good and the dance one. And so I drove out like a robot from 1984. From 1984.
So there you have it then. Mardy Bums headlining the Midlands NES Festival along with 2 other great acts. Plus there'll be lots of other stuff going on. Challenge Cup Trophy is going to be there. The Midlands NES Trophy, obviously. The 2, as it was said on social media this week, the 2 best trophies in rugby league.
What was it said?
Might be a bit of an exaggeration, yeah, but someone did mention that on social media. Yeah, we've got a number of other things available. Camping tickets are available on the website as well, just £5 per person. And we've got 3 glamping tents, haven't we, Craig?
Yeah, well, we've got 3 bell tents.
Bell tents, yeah.
Whether we can call it glamping, I don't really know. But yeah, if you don't want to bring your own tent, you can hire one of the glamping tents, get 10 people in there. Just saves you a bit of hassle, really, and, you know, something a bit different.
And mega party as well, 10 people, tent.
Yeah, only one of them needs to survive. I only need one back, so I shouldn't have said that, really.
No, you shouldn't have said that, mate.
All in all, Gal, just a little general chit-chat about, like how excited are you about it? And do you think it's gonna help grow rugby league in the Midlands or not?
I absolutely hope so, mate, because it's not being done, has it? Like, not on this level that we're trying to achieve anyway. So I do hope it helps to grow rugby league. I know I'm really excited about it, and it's the people I speak to who come in also appear to be very excited about it. So I feel like we're on the right track. Obviously it's the only thing I think about morning till night at the minute. So I like I said to you before, I'm a little bit nervous. We've thrown a hell of a lot into this, but I'm confident it's going to pay off.
Yeah, it's going to be a belting day. So how you can get involved? If you're a team out there and you want to send a team, there's a couple of different prices for you to enter. There's still a couple of places on some of the competitions. Failing that, just get yourself a festival ticket and come along. Festival ticket will give you entry all day. If not, you can come just for music at night. We have a couple of food vendors there. Me and Carl will be kicking around. There'll be lots of people. I think we're aiming for about between 400 and 500 people there. So it's going to be a bouncing party.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a good 500 people. I'll put it into perspective. I said this weeks ago, right? The headline act that we've got, if you went to see them anywhere else, it's going to cost you 15 quid, right? A festival ticket for the Midlands Nines, it costs you a tenner. You get the Mardy Bums, you get Alexander Norris, and you get Stiffmeisters. So you get 3 bands for a tenner. Plus, you get to come along and watch all the rugby as well. It genuinely is a great price.
Yeah, okay. So if you want to get involved in that, midlandsnines.com, okay, and you get your tickets there. And if you've got a little party of people or whatever that wants to come along, then just drop us a line. Maybe we can do something for that as well. Okay, moving on, Carl. The next story.
Is it tackle 5 or tackle 4
well,
times 2? I don't know. We couldn't talk about this weekend's action without talking about the Tyler Duprees forearm smash, elbow, whatever you want to call it. Everybody was absolutely raging about it online. Over to you, Craig.
Right. Well, I haven't got too much of a problem, right? I'd be interested to see what other people's comments are on this. Okay, what their thoughts.
There's a photo of it on screen there as well.
For me, of course, it could have gone horribly wrong, right? It could have gone horribly wrong. Taken the lad's jaw off, you know what I mean? Just made an absolute mess. But I think, where I was looking at it, and I think the match review panel sort of agreed, and I'll read out what they say in a minute, that he was just sort of fending with the ball, therefore the forearm, and hit the chest initially, then slid up towards the neck as the tackler was dropping down, So, and he came up with this elbow, and for that he got a one match ban. And I think the one match ban I think it's appropriate. But I haven't got too much of an issue with the elbow. You slightly disagree, don't you?
Yeah, well, I thought he did clip him with that elbow. I mean, I get what you're saying. He went with the forearm, didn't he? To brace yourself. All ball carriers do it. All forwards carry it. I don't think it was deliberate, but he definitely clocked him with that elbow.
I like your demonstration that you're putting in there. That's definitely getting clipped.
Barry McDermott style.
Yeah.
Look, I think he's been lucky, mate, to only get one game. That's what I'll say. I get what you're saying. He led with the forearm to sort of brace himself.
But like bounce him off with the ball. You know what I mean? As we do, and how you taught. He just, he got it kind of wrong, and we're very sensitive about it this year. So what the match review panel said was the player braces for contact, and the initial contact is with the chest and rides up quickly to the opponent's neck as the opponent slips prior to contact. And that's kind of their comments on it. And for that, he was given the one match ban.
Yeah, okay. Right. Next one we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Cam Smith, one match ban.
Now this
right, so we're putting that and Cam Smith's one match ban in the same category, are we? Come on, man.
But the thing is, where do you go apart from a ban? Where do you go? Like a standard fine?
Cam Smith shouldn't have even got a ban. So if anybody hadn't seen it, right, the player kicked the ball downfield, and when I say he brushed the
glanced,
the kicker, it was such a slight brush past him, and he got a one match ban for it. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? I'd really
it's
like
not.
to
Not really.
No, it is.
No.
It is because
you're going on the letter of the law, aren't you? Right.
Yeah,
if you touch a kicker, and he's kicking the ball, therefore, why are we not just applying common sense every now and then?
But I don't think the ref pulled him up on it, did he?
No, but so that's even worse then. So somebody's looked at that on camera, and gone, right, well, that warrants a one match ban. It's ridiculous. No way in a million years.
Here we go. Phil Kavanagh thought, I thought Duprees was okay. You'll see Ben Foskett do it every week this season. Yeah, exactly. I think you're right. I mean, I had this discussion with my wife, Paula, right? She was doing 79 on the motorway. She got a speeding ticket. And she was like, it's disgusting. Everyone else was doing 80. I was doing 79. I shouldn't have got a ticket. And I was like, no, but you were speeding. You're speeding. You know what I mean? And she was like, yeah, but it should be. Yeah, everyone's doing 80. Just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean
it's all right for you to do it.
And because what you're suggesting then is that we only give penalties and we only give disciplinaries on force alone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that's a grey area, isn't it? Well, whereas if he makes contact,
no, but did you see it, mate?
Yeah,
he barely touched him.
Yeah, I know,
and he can't pull out of it.
Yeah, but I know it's pathetic. But then if they don't do that, there's a lot to do with consistency here as well. If they don't give him a ban, right, that they've then set a precedence. So for if a similar thing happens again, but slightly more force, they go.
It wasn't even intentional. It was nothing in it.
Oh, I think it was intentional. I think it was part of the dark arts. Balls kicked down there. I'm just going to glance off him. You know what I mean? Give him something to think about, and I genuinely think.
I'm going to say this comment now for the first time this season.
What?
Oh, I shouldn't say this. Game's going soft, mate.
Hell. Oh, dear. Right, okay. All right, moving on then. So we're going to move on from that. Anyway, really interested in what people's thoughts are on both Tyler Duprees, Cam Smith. There was a few other things, a couple of other cards and disciplinaries as well. So, what's your take on that? Next one then, we're going over to European Rugby League, Carl.
Yeah, the Serbian league kicked off this week. The champion, they had a cup tournament which had been running a couple of weeks before, but they got into the Serbian Super League this week. It was Red Star Belgrade in the first game against, I am absolutely going to get this wrong, Jokoy Tigers, I believe it to be.
Nailed it.
Comment in the comments if we got that wrong. 44 points to 30. Red Star Belgrade lost, which from what I've seen of previous results from the other years, that was quite a bit of an upset.
Well, it's just becoming more competitive, or
yeah, definitely. It's definitely becoming more competitive. It is only a 4-team league, I believe. But Red Star, I mean, I've seen their scores before, and they're like 70, 80-0. So this is a big turnout for the Bucks. This is, and we've been given permission by the Serbian Rugby League to actually play some highlights.
Yeah, and in these highlights, I wanted to. I mean, obviously, it's not top level rugby league, right? In fact, you may even see a little bit of a like some creative posts going on. However,
creative posts,
yeah,
there ain't any, mate.
But it's great to see rugby league in Europe. Okay,
yeah,
but also look at some of the shapes that are getting played. Look at some of the finer skills like the passing and that kind of stuff. All right, there's work needed on tackling, that kind of stuff. But I was quite impressed with some of the finer points from this game. So it's
yeah, so there you go. There, the match highlights. Great to see. Great to see rugby league in Europe. Clearly meant a lot to the Tigers, that win, Craig.
Yeah, it did. And all right, it needs a lot of work, doesn't it? But it don't matter.
It don't matter. It's there, isn't it? It's happening
in Europe, and that's what we need more of.
Yeah, and so. I'd like to just touch on the Serbian Rugby League and how they promote themselves online, and especially Red Star Belgrade. I've got some of their graphics up on screen here. Absolute quality, mate. This is like Super League and Championship clubs could learn a bit too from this. The branding's excellent. Everything's consistent as well on brand. It's you know, I think they do some really good work on social media. As you can see on screen at the minute, I think I think they've absolutely nailed it. Red Star Belgrade.
Okay, right. So moving on then on to Williams Weekly, which has become a bit of a feature here. So the question I want to pose this week, if you look at like the scores, I think the bottom four haven't won a game, you know, and there's really in the last 19 games, I don't think anyone's won. And I'm wondering if they're kind of cooked, is there any chance of any of those bottom four teams breaking out the bottom four? Is the top 8 cemented, and they might do a bit of shuffling around, but basically we've ended up with this split in the league? And I just wondered what other people's thoughts were, and if they think there is going to be a bit of a shuffle, bottom teams breaking into top eight dropping into the bottom 4, who those teams are and kind of why. So really interested to kind of chat about that.
Yeah. So here's the league table, right? So Saints, Catalan, Warrington, and Wigan, they're not going anywhere, are they?
Well, they ain't dropping to bottom 4, are they?
No chance. Hull KR, no chance. Leeds, no chance. So let's start looking at the critical ones here then. Huddersfield are the one for me. I'm not too sold on. This Jekyll and Hyde team, they're up and down, aren't they, every week? And I could see Lee moving up as well.
Yeah, I could definitely. Lee have got the potential to move up. I completely agree with that. And you're right. I think Huddersfield might, but I just look at as it stands. Can you see a win for London? Can you see a win for Cass? Can you see a win for Hull?
I can see a win for London, but it's not going to come for a while, and I think they'll end up staying down that bottom end of the table. Castleford, I saw some signs from Cass this week that they were on the right path. They just couldn't score, which is quite a big problem in rugby league. But they built pressure really well. Leeds struggled with them for a time, so I could see Cass's fortunes turning. But I don't know who in that sort of middle section of the table I could see.
But I mean,
dropping.
The thing is, but just looking at it now, so with excuse me, we're 7 rounds in, and they've got no points to get sort of above Huddersfield. They've got to get at least 6, and Huddersfield's got to lose every game from now on in. Do you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. Is it already cut? Is it done?
You think
already?
It's a foregone conclusion already?
I can't see. Certainly, those bottom 2 teams picking up 6 points, and other teams lose.
I can't see it, but I wouldn't rule it out for Castleford just yet. I think they've got something. And like I say, with Huddersfield, I just don't know what you're going to get with Huddersfield. I just haven't got a clue from one week to the next.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my personal thing is I think that's it.
You think it's done?
Yeah. I just think there's a big split in the table. I can't see him recovering. Like those middle tier teams have got to have an absolute shitter for the next, however long, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And the other teams have got to, like Cass, London, they've got to have a belting run.
Right.
To swip.
Okay. So flip it then. Do you think this is the right structure for Super League? Because what you're saying there is them bottom 4 teams, they ain't got nothing to play for now.
No, well, I mean, London ain't got a great deal to play for anyway, other than Pride, have they? Because they ain't stopping up anyway.
IMG are gonna, they're gonna get booted by IMG anyway. Middle eights then, what the structure they had before? Throw that one at you. Do you think that was a structure that worked? Which the Championship and League One are bringing back, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, possibly. I've not really thought this much in depth. I just thought
throwing it at you, aren't
yeah, there's just definitely a split in the table, and I was like, I can't see that really changing. Is there a great deal for them to play for? But especially because the relegation's cemented into it. You know what I mean? If London's going down, then you're pretty safe. Survive the season. I can't believe we're talking about it round 7. Survive the season. Start building for next year. It just seems like a weird position that we're in right now.
Yeah, it's like Hull. You just can't see. I don't know. You just can't see them turning it around, can you? But one of those teams will go on a great run at some point in this season. I do believe that.
Well, you've got to think that's got to be Lee.
I would say if I was a betting man, I'd probably say it was Lee. Yeah, I can't. I think there will be some changes. Yeah. I think. So I disagree with you. I think there'll be one of those teams in that bottom 4 they'll get into that middle 8.
Well, it'll be interesting. Interesting to see. Okay, so we've not had any comments on that, I don't think. So, all right. So let's start wrapping up, Carl. So a bit of a look forward.
So this week's podcast episode is a great one. Worcester Rebels we had on this week. Matthew Robinson and Alex Paintner from the Rebels, who were previously sort of played for the Worcester Jaguars. Now, I didn't know much about this team. but it seemed to end in fireworks and not the best fireworks. So yeah, they give some sort of examples of how they believe a rugby club shouldn't be run and how they're trying to run their new Worcester side. They had a lot of relationships to rebuild, didn't they, Craig? And the lads really talk about that. They have relationships to build with all the rugby union clubs within the area. And it's great to see them going into their second season now, playing more games than they played last year. Because obviously they are a brand new side. Everybody talks really highly of them, and the lads were great in the interview.
Yeah, I took a hell of a lot from the episode. I really enjoyed chatting to them, and I think if you're a coach, if you're involved in running a team, then this is definitely one to listen to, because they've got it's probably stuff that we all know deep down, but maybe have not kind of put it into practice. So I think sometimes clubs suddenly find themselves at April going, shit, season starts soon. We need to be getting some players together and getting some sponsorship and all that kind of stuff. And they haven't left it as late as a lot of teams. And I think, so watch it, make a few notes, because they've got some interesting things to say. Just a couple. So we've got one comment from Phil. 3 to 8 is up for grabs. Bottom 3 and top 2 is nailed on. We have 3 competitions in the league. I've not said there's like 3 competitions, but he's right.
Phil agrees with me though there. Says bottom 3 and top 3 are nailed on. So therefore, he believes that somebody's getting out of that top 4 into that top 8, middle 8. So yeah, he agrees with me. You're wrong.
Yeah, and it's just a weird dynamic in it. That he's right. It's not split in 2. You split into 3.
Yeah. We're going to send to the front runners out there, and that ain't going to change this year. I'll be very surprised if that changes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting little talking point there. Right. So as well as that, Carl, anything else coming up?
You always do that to me. We always have our predictions episode on a Wednesday, which is really gaining a bit of popularity. Actually, that is. We've got sort of people commenting on it every week now and putting their input into who they think is going to win each week. I beat you last week, so I'm now leading the table, mate. So that's on Wednesday, the podcast episode on Thursday. And then, as always, we'll have a load of clips going out during the week on the YouTube channel.
Brilliant. So remember, if you haven't got your tickets yet for Midlands Nines, they are available, midlandsnines.com.
You've had a message coming from Tim Jones here, actually.
Tim, how are you doing? Here we go. Evening, boys. Another brilliant show. Some great topics being covered. The Nines Festival looks awesome. Totally agree with you regards the table. Top 5 looks strong. London, Cass and FC look generally poor, but all of their individual problems. Lee certainly potential to move. Salford already collecting wins you wouldn't probably expect. Giants, Salford, Lee and Leeds going for possibly 2 or 3 places. Yeah.
Expert analysis.
Yeah, no, I hang a lot on what Tim says. I think he's got a real good grasp of the game. So, really interesting. Obviously, if you don't know, Tim has just been involved in coaching the Norwegian under 19s, under 16s, I believe, and we're going to get him on as soon as we can and chat about that, because again, European Rugby League's only a good thing.
Yeah, I'll just put a bit of a shout out actually. Anybody who is involved in European Rugby League, any of these Serbian sides or anything like that, and you want to come on, get in touch with us. I'd love to have a chat with you and learn more, because that's what it's all about.
Okay, so we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks, as always, for joining us on the Set of 6. Look out for the podcast on Thursday, and we'll see you same time next week.